Welcome to episode number 7, Carl Knows People podcast. Today's guest is, I've been waiting a long time. I did a podcast 10 years ago and I wanted to get him on that one. Nobody's fault. I just stopped doing it. So this time we were able to get our schedules to meet up. And the reason I wanted him, he was the first person that I played with outside of my brother. Musically, he was in my first high school band, Sally and Groove. We've known each other since 1988, which is crazy to think about. 36 years.
Yeah, it is.
So Today's guest is Nate Weller. How are you doing?
Good, Carl.
Good.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
You feeling okay about doing this?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
You had some hesitations. You weren't quite sure what I was going to be springing on you, but you'll be okay. I'll be gentle. Do you remember? I always start this off. We're trying to figure out if you remember where the first time we met.
In my mind, I think that we met in one of our classes. It might have been math class.
In 8th grade?
Maybe. Was it 8th? I know that you came to middle school in 8th, but I remember us spending time in high school.
Yeah.
But I don't think
we were really friends in junior high. We played football together, so maybe on the football field.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. 8th grade years, SMS, Snoqualmie. What were the Eagles? Miss Eagles?
Yep, yeah, that's right.
I probably the first time we had an encounter, maybe we didn't say much to each other. But so when we get into high school, I think we had chemistry together or something like that. I think it was Clegg's class, and I had mentioned something. This is how I recall it. I had mentioned something to you about Josh being able to play Sweet Child of Mine, and you said, well, so can I. And I think you and I had made plans for me to come over and just kind of play. That's my recollection, but I could be foggy.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds probably right.
Yeah.
I remember at one point and you came over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came over.
Did you have a guitar at that time?
Yeah.
Did you bring one over?
I don't know. I always use yours. So I'm not
sure.
Either you used yours or Derek's. I may have had one, but it may not have been very good. So then I'm trying to figure out when you and I went over to Toby's place and played, because I think that would have been the next step. Because you and Toby and I played it in his house, in his room, but I don't remember the time frame. It was probably not very long after that, but to me it seems like it was probably a while. I know you had told me that you knew of a drummer, a young kid, and I didn't know what to expect, and he kind of blew my expectations out of the water when we went over and played.
Yeah.
Was that your first time ever playing with like a drummer?
No.
No.
No. I think, besides like church, like with the conga stuff.
Okay.
I think there was a one time before that. Was when I went with my cousin to Germany. I think that was right before we met.
Germany, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but anyway.
Okay. So
he had a drum machine, I think, actually.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we'll get all into all that later. What I'm first going to do is ask you about your childhood. Like I say, I knew you like personally from probably sophomore year, junior year on.
Yeah.
But I'm unclear. Did you lived in North Bend? Were you born when you lived in that house? Were you born and raised in that house?
No, we moved into that house, I think before middle school.
Okay.
We grew up closer in town.
Okay. But you were in North Bend the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your dad was a long time.
Yep. Yeah. My grandparents as well.
Were they from there too, your grandparents, North Bend?
Eventually moved there and settled. And
so did your dad grow up in North Bend?
He did, yeah. Okay. He went to Mount Si.
Yeah. I do remember, I can't remember what class it was, Miss Pickens? Miss Pickens' class, I think one of them said they knew who your dad was. They had your dad in class, which probably not many people in that town probably have that situation.
Yeah. It's pretty fun to think about.
Yeah. That's what it's like in this town. People don't move away much, and the teachers stay a long time, so it's kind of the same deal. So, North Bend Elementary, is that where you went?
Yeah.
Okay. What was it like back then, growing up in North Bend? I came in eighth grade years, summer before eighth grade year, so I had my own version of it.
Yep.
What was it like for you?
Well, you know, the valley,
Mhm.
it's beautiful, you know, and it was interesting for us, you know, having the store there. We spent a lot of time there as kids. And then we would sometimes go before school, walk to school, and go back to the store. So that was a big part of our lives.
So
And so
what was the
everything,
store called before QFC? I can't remember now.
so it was IGA originally,
Okay.
which was my grandfather, Bus Weller. He ran that. And then my dad and his brother and sister, and they kind of transitioned and took it over, and it became Weller's ShopRite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then they built that store where QFC is now.
Where was it before?
So there's that across the parking lot. There's that kind of. It almost looks like a. It's got multiple businesses in it. It's like a.
Is that where
I
Anthony's
can't
was?
think of what's all there.
Or that strip mall or somewhere
I think so. Like directly across the parking lot.
Yeah. There was
When
that
you-
video store that was
yeah.
on, like, if you're leaving the parking lot, it was on the right hand side. Then there's that Creepy
Yeah, it's-
Businesses on the left hand side.
Left hand side
Okay.
if you're leaving.
Okay, that's right.
That
The
spot.
Anthony's
That's
kind of-
where the.
kind of behind the BP where the BP
Yeah.
is now. Okay.
Yeah.
I was there. I was there when it changed over to QFC. I remember that because I remember it being, I think, ShopRite. What did you say it was? Weller's
Weller's
Yeah,
ShopRite.
Weller's ShopRite.
Yep.
One of the two stores in town, I believe. What was the other one called?
That's right. Thriftway.
Thriftway.
Yep.
I remember seeing you in there when we started playing. You had the job there doing, what were you, box boy? What were you doing there?
Yep. Yeah. I
Cashier.
was probably a box boy then.
So anyway, growing up in the valley, what was school like for you? Were you a good student through elementary school and all that?
Yeah, I think my mom says I was a good student.
Yeah.
You know, when I got into middle school, I felt it was a bit harder.
Uh-huh.
And then when I got to high school, you know, it just didn't interest me as much as, you know, music and sports and
Yeah.
other things, you know, so it was hard for me to focus. But
Sports may
You
have
know,
been the
got
reason
through
that
it
you
and-
had to keep your grades up, or you weren't able, or they wouldn't
Yeah.
let you play.
that's right.
So you played
So
in junior high when I moved in. You played football. Did you do track?
yeah.
You didn't
Yeah.
do basketball, right?
No, well, I did basketball seventh
Seventh grade.
grade. Yeah. And I did wrestling eighth grade.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, it was the second time I did wrestled in my life, and it was the last time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an intimidating sport when you're first starting. I did seventh grade, and that
Yeah.
was it for me. Then,
Yeah.
because they don't make you. I don't think in middle school they make you choose, because you could do both at that point. But high school, you got to choose one or the other,
Yeah.
because they're the same season. Did SMS offer soccer, or is that just high school?
I'm not
I
sure.
don't think they did soccer.
Actually, I'm not.
Did you do baseball?
I did a variety of sports
Yeah.
in grade school. You know, kind of did the whole soccer and all that, baseball. But I tried out for baseball my freshman year because a friend wanted to do it. I didn't really care much about it. I would have ran track, but I said, you know, sure, I'll try it. And I made JV,
Yep.
and so you know, I could run fast. I didn't like sitting in the batter's box much. I couldn't hit very well, but if I got on base, I would steal bases and
Yeah, that's
stuff.
good.
So
Yeah,
it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Played second base. I like being out there.
Yeah.
So
I never tried baseball. Much to my dad's chagrin, that was his favorite sport. None of his kids, his three boys, none of us played baseball. Even little league, none of us played. So, and
Yeah.
Othello had a really strong little league. Like, it was pretty major in Othello. Was it in? Did you do little league then?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it became, you know, there basketball. I mean, we grew up playing church league basketball.
Mhm.
That was ruthless.
Yeah.
And then we played, then there was baseball, and then it went into fast pitch. And then there was soccer. It was fairly new, I think, to the Valley
Yeah.
at the time, but it was a good time.
I played church league with Ryan LeBaron's church.
Oh yeah.
Mormon church. And I remember when we were doing basketball and we didn't have enough players. So we made like an emergency phone call to, I can't remember who it was, but the whole starting lineup of our 8th grade team showed up and we just demolished everybody that weekend.
That's awesome.
Teams
Yeah.
were older than us. Ron Shepard, you know, he was there. Willie and Jeff Crow and all those guys, they were all there. I think maybe
I love it.
maybe DJ. I can't remember. Anyway, it was pretty funny. So going into junior high, you played football. That's, I believe, probably the first time we said anything to each other, or hung out, or knew of each other's existence. That's the first season of the year is football, the first sports season. And I don't recall junior high having classes with you, but I don't remember a lot of junior high anyway. It's kind of a whole influx of just new people and new town for me. So I remember, a little bit about it, but not a whole lot. It was a very interesting change up for me from where I came from. When did you start showing interest in music? I know your dad was very into music.
Yeah. I think that as far back as I can remember, I mean, we always had music playing. There was music around. We had family members. We had my cousin Darren and his whole family. They had a Gear family band. And they gave lessons in town. And
was Darren the one that gave lessons to everybody?
Yeah, he gave guitar lessons, and then Fritz gave piano lessons, his brother. And then so we grew up, they made a tape and everything when they were kids, like the whole family. It was like the Partridge Family. So we were around it. I mean, when we would go over there for, when they were older, and Darren was doing more of his stuff and Corky was playing bass, his other brother, they would just set up and we'd be like eating, and then we'd go outside and be playing and stuff, and they'd just be jamming and playing music and singing. And then music was always, I always connected with it. And so even early on, we went to a liturgical Lutheran church, and my mom she was instrumental in getting a folk service set up. So she helped transition to the morning services was liturgical. The second service was still liturgical, but she would play acoustic guitar. A couple other people would play acoustic guitar, and they'd have like eventually a drum set, but they'd have like djembes, and which was she was kind of a rebel there. She's kind of forerunner there and kind of changing, it was pretty cool. In fact, an interesting story about that is Rusty Draper. If you've ever heard of him or looked up his stuff, he was going to that church before he was a member of the church before he passed on, and he would sometimes be up there just laying waste to the electric guitar. It was pretty cool. Adding his style. Yeah. And it was his style. So if you go and listen to his stuff, that's how he would contribute. And it was pretty cool to have somebody who opened up for Elvis.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool.
At your church. So yeah, that was big deal there. And then my other uncle played in a Christian hair metal band called Antioch. And so I, looked up to that, and it was really cool. And some of the guys worked at the store.
Oh, really?
And so, just around it. And then I wanted to play drums, but my mom said I needed to play piano first. And so she got me enrolled in piano early on in grade school. We kind of had this negotiation thing going on. Eventually, when I was, I think it was like 4 years of piano, and then I was able to switch instruments. But then by then I wanted to play electric guitar. So I talked to, Darren, and he went in and took me to the music store, and they all knew him.
Yeah.
And he would just go in there and just play. And
was that Canally Keys or American Music?
American Music. Yeah, I think it was American Music. And another time we went into Seattle. I'm trying to think of where. Might have went to Bass Northwest for the bass. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Actually, it's been a long time. But he would go in there, and then he helped. He'd be like, okay, we need to get an amp and a little guitar. And so we'd look at the stuff, and he'd try to get a deal, and that's how I got the guitar, and I loved it. I mean, I just started playing right away. I just loved.
Up until you just mentioned it, I remember. I didn't remember that your mom. I think I knew she had an acoustic. I think you remember. You remember. I remember you telling me that she played, but just until now, that jogged my memory that was a thing.
Yep. Found out years later, my dad actually played bass.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like after you or before you?
Before me.
Oh, really?
He had one of those Hofner violin type basses that like Paul McCartney played.
Nice.
Yeah, and he plays harmonica too.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I've never heard him, and I haven't got him to play bass in front of me.
Why? Do you think he doesn't?
I don't know. One day.
Yeah, hopefully.
One day.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
When I mentioned it, I can't remember what podcast it was, but I don't know if there were many people in the Valley giving guitar lessons, but the only one that I knew of was your cousin, and like everybody that was playing guitar lessons took lessons from him. So I was very resistant and never did, because in my dumb teenage brain, if everybody learns from the same guy, everybody in the Valley is going to sound the same if they all take lessons from the same teacher. So I never did take any kind of lessons ever. So getting back to, well, let's just kind of jump into high school a little bit, where we decided we were gonna maybe do something. Was that ever a plan of yours to be in a band in high school or around that, or did you ever have that thought?
Well, when you're playing, you start dreaming. I always feel like I always wanted to do music, but I had wanted to do a lot of other things too. Yeah. So, it wasn't until you and I met that it started to become kind of a reality. There was one instance that I mentioned about Germany. Yeah. The reason I play bass is Darren was teaching me, and he was like, "Hey, this is not long after like the Berlin Wall, all of that came down, and there was people were heading into East Berlin and stuff like that." And he was like, "Hey, we're gonna put together a group to go there and play at schools and kind of, it was like a mission trip kind of deal." Okay. And he said, "And would you be interested in playing bass and going?" And I was like, "Well, yeah."
And how old were you?
I was like, "So
this was high school?"
This is before I was probably 16. I think this is probably right before we started like playing. And so we went, and he showed me, he'd play the root notes and just showed me. I learned the songs, and a group of us went over there and we played in schools, and he played in some of the bars there. I mean, he was ripping stuff like Cliffs of Dover. I mean, he's a fantastic guitar player, right? Yeah. And so then we went into Czechoslovakia, did the same kind of thing, played music and kind of talked with people. We had interpreters, and we kind of tried to bring hope, into a place that didn't have a lot of hope at that time.
How was it received?
And then, some was great. I mean, especially the schools, the kids, they just, to have someone come and play music in their school, was a big deal. And then give them a message of hope. And then on the street, sometimes when we were kind of spreading the gospel or trying to have conversations, it was sometimes very resistant.
Yeah.
And so
that's how I felt when I don't know. Do you remember when the Navy band came to Mount Si and played during lunch? It was the old. I don't think I do. It was it must have been our freshman year, because it was the old lunchroom. Yeah. Maybe sophomore year, when they were starting to build. You don't remember when the Navy band coming?
They were so good.
Like, I remember they played Aerosmith, "Love in an Elevator," like perfectly. The singer was like perfect. I was always impressed with, like, they tried to recruit me, of course. That was their recruiting trip, and they asked me what I was interested in doing, if I was going to college or any of that, and I was, no, I'm gonna be in a band, play music. But the Navy has a great band, it's like, yeah, a little too good. I'm not that good, so they couldn't get me either way. So after you and I decided we were going to do some stuff with Toby, then we made the call to Josh Rostel. And we must have went. I think we went over to his place. So I don't remember playing with Josh at your house. Do you?
In my mind, I can put him there, but I
don't really remember playing at Josh's either. I remember his uncle's warehouse in Issaquah. I remember playing there. What did we play? 2 shows with him?
Yeah, there's that one he got us that you keep telling me about,
the March of Dimes.
March of Dimes.
We got kicked off stage after 2 songs.
Nothing like getting kicked off the stage, man. And then
right.
Yep. Let's see what else. And then the other one at the high school.
Yeah, Mount Si, the Wi-Fi or Hi-Fi. I keep saying Wi-Fi now because that's a thing, but it wasn't back then. Hi-Fi.
And I'm pretty sure that he was at my house when Shelby came over and
See, that's one thing. So I tell you about that show that you don't remember. You tell me about the Shelby tryout that I don't remember. It kind of rings a bell. I don't ever remember her actually doing it. Was it out in your garage?
No, it was in the house.
In the house? Yeah, I don't
Where the piano's at. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. Where the piano's at.
Yeah. So is that still there? I can't remember. Did you say that piano's still there?
It's still there.
And your dad's record collection still there?
Yeah.
Nice.
Still there.
Cool.
Yeah. And the kids bust out the player piano when we go over there. And
yeah. That's why I wanted you to take a picture, is if I could recall it a little bit. Steve and I were talking about it. Well, Lars a little bit too, with the Nate Festival. What was it? Natapalooza? Is that what they refer to it as?
Yeah.
Yeah. So our after we lasted two shows with Josh, we were rehearsing with, was it Hippocamp at the time, or is it Silt?
Yeah,
it was probably Silt. No, Hippocamp first.
Yeah, I think they changed it to Silt.
Yeah, they changed it to Silt. So it was probably Hippocamp when we were getting ready for Snoqualmie Days. No, that timing's wrong, because we had Derek with Snoqualmie Days. Somewhere when we were practicing at Josh's uncle's, he decided he wanted to leave and go to Hippocamp. His parents talked him into doing that. So he left. We had him and I had some disagreements on who's taking what song and all that kind of stuff. But obviously, those songs were really going to take off. We wanted the credit for it. And so he left. We needed to find another guitarist if we wanted to go on. Derek and I ended up meeting out at, do you remember Ryan Cox? No, Ryan Cox, the older brother.
Okay.
We're out at his place. It was him. It was Derek, Matt Downs, Chris Bacon, who was Matt Downs' half brother or stepbrother or something. And all of us went out there and played. I think I heard Derek play at a talent show for our junior year. He played with Becky Osborne was on the drums, and they played a Bryan Adams song. And I just heard him whip out the solo at the end. I was like, oh boy, that guy's good. Then by chance, we both ended up out at Ryan's house, and we took a ride. Now, no, see, my timing's weird, because I knew of him before, because we played with Sid Bidrell at this Mount Si show. So I already knew of him.
That's right.
Then I think somehow we figured out that Sid Bidrell wasn't a thing anymore. So however it happened, we were out at Ryan's house, and me and him ended up taking a drive and basically asked him if he wanted to join. And I don't think there was ever a tryout. He was, I think, a little better than all of us anyway. So he just came in and we started working on stuff. Started working on that show. I can't remember who got us the show for the Snoqualmie Days. Was it you?
I have no clue.
I don't either. I can't remember how. Maybe it was Silt. Maybe it was them that got it for us. And I do remember thinking that we had to play for 5 hours, because the entertainment slot was 5 hours long. So we tried to get all this material that we could just to fill up time. Then come to find out later, it was only gonna be 40 minutes. But that's why we're doing Imagine, when your dad's classic line. Maybe you should leave that. Mm-hmm. Maybe you should just let the Beatles play that one. He wasn't too impressed with our version.
That's funny.
Yeah, so we went on with Derek. How many shows with Derek do you think we had? We had the second Mount Si show we played with him, right? When he was also in that other band with my brother and Eric Rice.
I think so.
Did he do 2 shows? Did he do both bands that night?
Then there's the barbecue.
The barbecue at your place. It seems like it was so much more.
Well, there's the Mount Si barbecue.
Oh yeah, the Mount Si barbecue. Oh, that's what you were talking about? Then not Natapalooza. He wasn't in that. That was a different band. So the Mount Si barbecue.
Sid Bidrell too.
Just once, right? The Mount Si barbecue once, because they didn't ask us back our senior year, which made me mad. It's they hired that other band. I was like, we're the seniors this year. Why don't you? That irritated me. That's weird. We did 2 Snoqualmie Days shows. Then we did the barbecue, Mount Si barbecue. 3 shows. That seems weird. It seems like we're together forever, but it's probably probably under a year, I would think.
It just feels like a lifetime, right?
Yeah.
When you're in it.
Yeah, going into our senior year, then Derek and I decided, since you were going off to college and Nate and Toby was just young, we were going to look for other players. And that ended up not working out. Then we reformed. We got back together. we did our demo at that guy's house in, what was that, Monroe or not Monroe, Duval or something like that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I just remember being there.
Yeah, it was Jim. It was
and
Jim
doing
Gordon's hookup. It was his
Okay.
friend. I think he was like regional manager of like Sizzler or something, so he had some money. And we went there and recorded 4 songs. Do you remember what they were? 4 songs in that demo? I'm trying to think. Paragon was one of
Work In,
them.
maybe. Yeah, Paragon.
Shed the Silence.
Probably. Yeah. Okay.
Unconscious Storm. Did we do that one on there?
I don't remember doing that one on there, but
I know we have the recording from your garage of that one when Toby wasn't there, and I took over on drums. And
yeah.
You
know, Derek had that whole album.
Yeah, I think I do somewhere.
We should have looked at it. Yeah.
Actually, I might not anymore because I couldn't access my old hard drives, and I just got mad and I threw it away. So I was really dumb on my part, but not too long ago, because I wanted to try to find my old podcasts, and I couldn't find anything on there, or I couldn't access it. So after that, I don't think much happened after we did the actual demo. I don't know if we did shows after the demo. This time frame is so but
everything was changing.
Yeah.
You know, everybody was going separate directions.
Yeah, it's an odd time to start a band when you're a junior, and senior year stuff's gonna happen. So you end up going to Central. Knowing from your other podcast, like the first week or so that you're at Central, you met the guys in Ground Flower and started being in a band. Around that same time, a couple of things happened with Derek and I's band, or Derek's band. I joined his band. Then that ended up being Within eventually, with me and Chad, Tim, and Adam. That ended up being Within. That's the lineup where we came to Ellensburg and recorded. I can't remember. We must have been and stayed in touch. I can't remember where I heard the Ground Flower tape the first time. In my mind, maybe I came and visited you in Ellensburg previously, but I can't be positive on that. Somehow, or you maybe came back into town and showed me. Because it was wait until you go to your parents' house and call somebody at their parents' house, because cell phones weren't happening.
That's right.
It's just weird to think back how did we used to get a hold of each other? Yeah, wall phone. That's how we used to get a hold of each other. A
lot of time by chance, right?
Yeah,
and you call and say, "Hey, tell them that I called."
Anyway, so you had your band in college. I had Within going on. We kind of, I would say, kind of palled around a little bit, kind of partnered up a few times. We did what we were talking about before, the Native Palooza in your parents' backyard. It was, I think you guys ended the show. We were second, and Sabidral, a second formation with Eric Rice, Derek, and I can't remember, he's a really tall bass player. It's on the tip of my tongue. Albert's his last name or his first name. Derek will correct me here shortly. That was a really fun show from what I remember.
Yeah,
real fun.
That was so fun. People just started showing up.
Yeah. I can't remember how many people ended up there.
But the word got out.
Yeah.
That was fun. We were all up on the deck. It was kind of like a little stage, you know. And
you don't recall you, Binger, and I running to, because you were in North Bend. We had to run back to Ellensburg that morning, pick up the PA from Mark, who was the guy that owned the studio we recorded at, because he had a big PA, huge speakers that could only fit in the back of your truck. So you, Binger, and I, shoulder to shoulder in your red truck, driving over, picking that up so we can do that show. We always had pretty good support from our class, from what I remember. Looking back on those Snoqualmie Days videos, like a lot of people from our class were there in the crowd watching. Well, they didn't have anything like that to go to, like actually live music, and like it's people from your school that you know. So I guess, I'd want to show up too if I wasn't part of it. So let's get into you and Ground Flower. When you started that, you guys were 4-piece, correct?
That's right.
Now, do you remember the order of who joined when?
So, I was walking out to the dining hall, and it was probably the first week. Like, we had preview week, and then we had like the first start of the week. Yeah. And it was either preview week or the first week of school.
Yeah.
And I was walking to the dining hall. I was leaving Muse Hall where we all stayed.
Yeah.
I was with some of our classmates from outside, and I just heard music.
Kirby and them.
And Jana. Yeah, they were probably all.
Mike.
Yeah. Yep, Mike was there. Just walking. And Chris Lee, Amy.
Did they all go there
was
too?
there. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of,
I went to the right school, but like 30 years later, or because I graduated CW too.
And I just heard the music, and I think it was Lars and Steve jamming, and I couldn't, in my mind it was Steve's Strat that I heard.
Yeah.
But it could have been it could have been just acoustic guitars. But I just remember hearing it, and I really feel, at that moment I feel like it really saved me, because I was just struggling. I was in a new place, and my mom was praying that I would find something, and music is such a big part of who I am, that, I heard it and I just stopped, and I was like, I got to go check this out. And then everybody was like, well, all right. So I just like took off, and I followed the music.
Yeah.
And I followed up to the second floor, and I kept walking, and I heard it down one hallway, and I went down there and I just walked in. And I was just like, so like, I was probably like that awkward guy that walks in the room. It was just like, and I was just listening. I waited for them to stop. And the way I remember it is that I just introduced myself and said, "Hey, that's cool, man. How you guys doing?" And I was like, "I play bass." And then I was like, "You want to see it?"
That's what I was going to say. That's what Steve, he wasn't there, but I guess he heard the story. Because that's a weird way to introduce yourself as a musician. I have a bass. Do you want to see it?
So awkward, right? So, but I really wanted to show him, like, I could play this thing, right?
Yeah.
So we went upstairs, and I had just moved that whole speaker, that 215 stack and the head in that small dorm room. I plugged it in, just cranked it up. I probably gave him everything I could ever play.
That was your audition right there.
Yeah. I was just like frantic, and it was just like instant connection though. From that point, like they put an ad, we put an ad out, like in this thing called the Bathroom Buddy, and it sat in the stalls. So when you're using the stalls, you could read it. Mm-hmm. And Steve, he made a whole resume. All of a sudden, this guy shows up and he's got a resume, and he's got, I wish we still had it. I was asking the guys about it.
Yeah.
So we formed, like, I think it was that week. So then we had a practice, and we all brought our stuff to, there's like this common area on every floor. There's like 8 floors.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of these, there's like 3 hallways. There's this common area. So we just like push stuff aside, and we just put all the equipment, amps, Steve's drum set, everything in there. And I think we may have gotten through 2 songs before they came and kicked us out.
Yeah, that's 2 for you. You get kicked out after 2 songs.
Something like that. Yep. I got kicked out. We got kicked out again. So then Steve, his parents said that we could come out there to his house. He lived in Kittitas. Yeah. And so we went out there, and just from that point on, we had a place they never complained. We had a place to play.
Not too far away.
And and there was this, like a talent show that our dorm held like 2 weeks later. Yeah. And we had like 4 songs or 5 songs that because Lars already had some songs going, and we just like, well, let's learn them. So we added our parts to it and kind of worked our way through the songs, and then we performed. And so it was a pretty fast. Well, we have the concert on video.
Did you win?
We won.
Nice. After 2 weeks. That's not bad.
I got the certificate.
You still have it?
Yeah, still have
awesome.
it. And so that was awesome. That was like, boom. We had an instant connection. We had songs. We were playing. We were all into it. It just took off from there. And then Central supported us. KCAT, the radio station, supported us. At one point later on, I'm jumping forward in time, but later on, even the television,
oh, really?
Central Television.
Yeah.
They had us come and play a concert. So, and they would have us, we even played a concert. I think we opened up for Black Happy that year. Like they came, like Central would put us on the opening bill.
Nice. They're kind of a funky. So were they kind of a funk?
They were sweet. They were like ska almost, rock. They're like rock ska. Yeah. So before ska was like massively, like, I think blowing up.
Yeah.
They were doing it. They were like they had a hard rock sound, but then they had a 3-piece or something horn section,
Nice.
and it was awesome.
Nice.
I mean, they were great, and they eventually changed their name to Shovel Jerk. I think they changed some things.
Oh,
they may be back. I haven't. Once in a while, I'll look at these bands, that we've played with, and I'll be like, oh, look at these guys. They're still kind of doing something,
Yeah.
or they're.
That's kind of cool.
So it's cool.
I got to take a quick break here to see how this would work.
Yep.
I'm going to push, I think I have to push stop, then hopefully it'll let me kick right back on because I'm not going to leave the studio. So just stay put. So bands that you previously played with went on like to go on further than Groundflower. How long did Groundflower go on?
So Groundflower was like 93 to 98.
Okay. So it was a good 5-year run. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Did you ever take it on the road?
With Groundflower? So we traveled, we had a circuit, and we started getting in with University of Idaho, Washington State University, University of Washington, Western.
Wow.
Let's see, where else? I'm probably forgetting stuff, but we kind of had this they'd invite us, like sororities or frats would invite us over, or we would just start getting different shows. And so, yeah, we were able to travel, which was, it was pretty fun. We were practicing like twice a week, and then we could play shows on the weekends. Those other guys would probably fill in the blanks on all the stuff. We played a couple times in Seattle, actually more than that. We even played like this New Year's Eve thing in one of the bigger theaters. That was a weird one. Just, different stuff. The college scene was really fun though. that was like, everybody was always into it. We would have like a 3-hour set usually with all of our originals and covers. Nice. And, it was always a good time.
That's something I didn't know about that either. I just thought maybe you just played around Ellensburg. And of course, North Bend and Snoqualmie and Fall
right.
City. You did that. You did that tour.
That's right. We did that too.
Yeah.
And the Palooza. And the Native Palooza.
The Bingo Hall show was one of my favorites of all time.
Oh, I love. So fun.
Did I send you the picture that I had AI do?
No, I don't think maybe. I don't know. We send each other stuff all the time, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, let me look on no, I didn't. So it was I had AI do, or ChatGPT do it was when Within was playing at that show, and I said, do you have your phone on you? I'm gonna send it to you. I said, make the crowd look bigger, make this crowd bigger with more people or whatever.
That's awesome.
But that picked the guy in the front in the white shirt with his hand kind of up, like right in front of me a little bit. That's you, because that's what you're doing in the original picture. And if you blow up the picture, the person right next to him, the black shirt and the black hat backwards, he has a microphone. Like he's the singer. They superimposed him as the singer of the band because of how his hand was.
Yeah.
And I think that's Eric P. in the original, or Eric McCarthy in the original picture. It's really funny.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that sure. Yeah, that show was really fun. I don't suppose you remember the third band that we're with Toby then. That's when we brought Toby on.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the third band. I keep on to say Christopher Robin, but I don't know if that's who it was.
Oh, we found the flyer, right?
I don't know if we found the flyer for that show.
Okay. I'll look.
We might have.
I might have found it, and I didn't take notice of the other band.
Yeah. Then you played, early in your guys' formation, you played The Basement, John's Basement.
Oh yes, John's Basement.
What do you remember about that show? Steve has a pretty funny take about it. You being from the Valley may not have been such a shocking experience for you, but he pretty much describes it as the Blair Witch Project, and he thought that was the last night of his life because out in the middle of nowhere in the forest.
What I remember, where you go way out, you never, you think, and you go down that hill, right? It's like, I remember, doesn't it go down and then you go around his house and to get inside his basement?
Yeah.
So it's just, it's
if,
out there.
If at that point you can get down the hill.
Right.
Some shows you couldn't.
No. And what I remember is there being more people than expected. Like there was like
a lot of people.
And you're like going, how are all these people? Like, you couldn't like go, they couldn't all fit in there. You just couldn't. And you know, and it was electric. I mean, it was like packed. People were having a good time.
You had a good lineup. I remember that from that flyer. I remember the lineup was good.
Tons of bands, and people knew those bands.
They didn't know you.
No, they didn't know us.
Some of us did.
And that's how we ended up changing our name. I think you guys probably already talked about that, though.
Current, because you figured out, there's another band called Current or whatever.
While we were there, somebody said, "Oh, we thought you were the straight edge band Current." We didn't know. We had no idea. I mean, we just came up with that name, and so we're like, "Well, it looks like we're changing our name." And so, that's
a recurring theme in this podcast. I don't know if you. So the same thing happened to us. We were Refused. And we found out there's another band called Refused from Sweden or something like that was getting popular, or was popular. So we changed it to Within after that. And I don't know if you recall Cliff's episode. You said you listened to that, but same thing happened to him. They were once known as Creed.
Yep, I heard that. Yep, it's so great. So great.
Change that one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's funny. Band names are funny. Mm-hmm. Oh, let's get into that. Do you remember naming the band Salient Groove?
It was at my house.
Is that your house?
It was at my house, and we were pulling books off my parents' shelves.
Yep.
We were going through like these all kinds of, they had Encyclopedia Britannica, Old Western, you know, I don't know.
My favorite one came from the Western book, but no one wanted it for some reason.
Was it Three Finger Jack? It escapes me.
It was Knuckle Duster.
Knuckle Duster. That's a good one. Is there a Knuckle Duster? If there isn't a Knuckle Duster, we gotta. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, naming bands are fun, but irritating and frustrating at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Nobody. It's rare when everybody goes, "Oh, that's it. That's the one." Mm-hmm. I re-listened to Josh's podcast, and he feels that Toby came up with the Salient.
It's possible, because I actually had no memory, and I thought later in my mind I'd convinced myself that it was a play on that movie Soylent Green.
Well, Soylent Green. Yeah, I don't think it was
Soylent. Yeah, Soylent Green.
Yeah,
and so I was like, you know, but you guys were all like, no, it's fine. That's what I convinced myself.
I'm trying to think, because I remember noticeable, most notable or important is what salient means. From when I remember back then, we were in high school, I thought I had read that it meant something protruding from the ground that catches people's attention. So I thought, well, that's kind of fitting. No one's going to know what that means or why we named it that, but I mean, it does mean something that we would want it to mean. The groove, I don't know. We weren't a very groove oriented band, and we spelled it wrong. We spelled it like Motley Crue with the UE instead of the OOVE. Did we do the umbats?
I don't remember those, but once in a while we put them on.
I think so. Yeah. And I surprising that you don't have it, but we had shirts made.
I used to have graphics.
One. I know.
I had it for the longest time. I don't know if it like finally disintegrated or what.
I believe in our your bedroom interview video that we have, I'm wearing one. It had like crossbones or something. I can't remember who came up with the design, but it's crossed like dog bones crossed.
Yeah.
And SG on the sides. And I don't know what the top and bottom were. But then a totally different, I think it was an SG and some weird font on the front. So wish I had that. That would have been the best to have.
We have a picture of me wearing that shirt. But we'd have
front view.
Front view. We'd have to zoom in pretty hard to see, though.
You'll have to send that to me.
Okay.
So that was the naming of the band. The shirts, we went all out. We were ready to make a go of it in our high school scene, which was us. Was the only scene that we had to worry about. I don't even know how we figured out that Sabidril was a thing. So I don't think any of them went to the school. Matt may have. He may have been a senior, but I don't know if he was Two Rivers. I can't remember. I know BJ was out of school. Derek was Two Rivers. He and their bass player was out of school. Well, maybe it was our junior year. Matt was a year ahead of us, so he may have been the only one at Mount Si, but I can't remember if he graduated Mount Si or if he went to Two Rivers.
Yeah,
I don't think you would remember. I think another one of those shows at the high school, Josh's other band, Pigmaker, played with his brother, Alan Alameda. That was a short-lived band, I believe, as well. He didn't last very long with Silt either. Silt. Could you imagine a tour with Silt and Current? That would have been nice.
That'd have been fun.
The river tour.
Yep.
Pretty.
I think we may have played with them in Seattle once.
Really?
Actually.
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, at this bar, and they played first. They got us the show. They played first, and then got out of there, and we were stuck with like some hecklers.
Really?
In the back.
Well, that's nice of them for them to just leave you there.
That's all I remember. Yeah, that's all I remember. I can't remember anything else. But in my mind, we should ask the other guys about that. But
do you remember you and I going to a show in Pioneer Square? Must have been around that time, but it was the nephew of the guy from the presidency of the United States of America. You had heard about the show.
Yeah. Martin Ballou?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I didn't know who. But I was there with you. I know that.
Yeah.
And I just remember they had a song called Frozen Pizza that sounded like peaches.
Are you talking about Half Acre Day?
I don't know. Was it? It might have been. I don't know.
So
that was Steve. Steve was with them, right?
The band was from Central. If we're talking about the same band,
maybe.
Yeah, and they went on, and they're still doing music and art and stuff. Yeah. I'm not sure if they're still playing. They have a site and everything. I'm not sure if they're still doing stuff as Half Acre Day, but they are doing it for quite a while, and maybe they still are. But yeah, we are all friends, and we would kind of support each other. So sometimes we'd play shows together, and one would open, one, we did this one show as acoustic down at Austin Eats in town, and we both played acoustic, our sets acoustic, and then at the last song we played Mrs. Robinson together, all together. Oh, nice. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was
like the Within Groundflower collab at the end when you guys did Rockin' in a Free World.
Oh yeah,
Derek and I got up on stage and sang with you guys.
Yeah,
maybe even Eric, but we had a stage full. That's what I remember.
That was awesome. Yeah. Hey,
Steve was also telling me, huh?
I got to check on something real quick. I may have to. Someone needs to go to soccer practice. I got to make sure that that they got a ride. Can you pause it for a sec?
Yeah.
I'll be right back. So yeah. Anyway, with Half Acre Day, we love those guys. We even traveled over to see them play on the west side somewhere.
Yeah.
Just to cheer them on from, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So we good friends with those guys. Loved hanging out and playing with them. It's fun when you have that camaraderie thing. You know, you and I have it. Whenever.
I was telling you that one time. Yeah, I remember back then you were telling me about a band in Ellensburg called Iodine. And when 30s Burnin' was recording we did one track at that studio, Bob Blank Studios in Seattle. We took it out to the car to listen to it, and the guy came up to our window and started listening and started talking to him and asked him what the name was. He asked who we were, and I told him. I asked who he was, and he says Iodine. I was like, "You from Ellensburg?" Like, yeah. Like he was surprised I would put that together. I was like, "Do you know Nate Weller?" "Oh yeah, I know Nate." That was kind of just so random that I run into somebody that like you knew. I was actually kind of impressed they were still doing it. 90. That would have been 3-ish, maybe 2003.
Wow,
2004. They're still going.
That's awesome. I need to look up some more of their stuff. I have one of their albums.
Yeah.
It was a fun time in Ellensburg. Anywhere really for music. I mean, that time, there was it seemed like everybody had a band, or at least you got to know people that were in bands, and you'd go to each other's shows. You'd see Iodine play, and it was cool. I love their sound too. It's heavy.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember someone mentioned something like sludge metal or something. I don't know. It's hard to describe what they were like, but they were good.
Yeah.
Kind of Alice in Chains, maybe.
Lars was trying to describe them, I think, because I think that's how you describe them to me, as Alice in Chains. And he goes, well, a little more like Rage Against the Machine-ish, but I never heard them. I kind of think back to how things would have been if I would have went to Central right out of school, but I had no interest in 18 hits and things happen, and 20 years old, and I'm a dad, and everything kind of got put on hold for me. So after, you don't need to get into, so Grandfather ended 98-ish, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
How long was it until you started playing again?
Well, that was a crazy transition. I thought maybe I needed a break. I just needed a break from music altogether. I didn't even know if I was gonna play. Crazy thing though, I actually was working at a camp right out of school, and I was a program director out there, and that's where I met my wife. And she was on the program staff. She came over from New York, and so the directors introduced us. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna like Gretchen. She's cool." And so I ended up taking off a week and going to the studio to finish the third album with Groundflower during that time because they were working on the recording contract at the time, and um, we were kind of finalizing that third album. And so I came back, and then I was kind of, I had a lot of stuff going on, and there was a guy that was doing camp music, and the program director was like, "He's not cutting it. We need someone who can he couldn't really play in the songs for the kids, and he was kind of like working out the chords as he was trying to do it, and so he was like, "You play, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Can you just take over?" And I was like, "Okay." So I just had him I didn't know all the songs, but I just had him just kind of sing it, and I just chorded everything out. And then Gretchen and I and this other girl, we put together a kind of a little band called the Pips, and so we would lead all the campfire stuff. And so that kind of
Gretchen played then too.
No, she just sang.
Oh, okay.
It was our first. She just helped. It was like I just played guitar, and then they would just sing the songs to help lead them for this camp. And it kind of, that for me was really fun. It just was. There's no pressure. I was still figuring my life out, and it kind of brought a little bit of that kind of. But you still like music. You know that's part of you. You can't And I was trying to kind of just And so when that happened, we were part of a college group before we went out to camp, and that college group came out to hear us, like just to see what we were doing out there. And this girl was out there, and she saw me, and she was like, I'm not exactly sure how she approached it, but she just was like, I don't know, we got together and she wanted to do music. And so when camp ended, I still worked for the camp, but I lived in a cabin through the winter, and I ran an extension cord out there. And so this girl, Carly, would come out, and we would write music in this cabin. And she was a fantastic singer. And I was just like, so I could just chord out all these songs, and we started writing. And then we started like, well, maybe we should keep going. And so there's a bass player who's
sorry.
Sorry
about that. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. And so we found a bass player. He played in another band, but he was part of the church that we were all going to. And then Steve, we were like, Steve had mentioned that there's another drummer in town, and so we met up with him. And then we just formed a group, and we just started playing, and she was real serious about it. So we were writing all the time, and we just started playing locally and just started going to different places.
So had you stopped with Groundflower at this point?
Yes. So that was before this started. So I stopped kind of before this transition happened. There's a point in time where I wasn't really doing anything, and I just was kind of like taking a break. And so so in between those two, there was kind of just a break. I was figuring myself out, and we were going to this church, and all this, they're part of the college group, and we were all just it just kind of started, you know what I mean? One of those things. And and I was playing guitar at this time again. I was playing electric lead guitar, and started doing that. And that lasted for a bit. And then she graduated, and we all started getting married.
Was she Central?
Yeah, she was Central. And we all started getting married, and she really wanted to go on and do. Looking back on it, we did, it would have been probably a great thing to try. Newly married, we were just trying to figure out jobs and trying to figure out what we were going to do. So we were like,
what year did you get married?
99.
99. Okay. So I was 98. So pretty close. Were you at my wedding?
I don't remember. I don't remember. I was trying to think about that. Yeah, you're at mine.
Yeah. I can't remember. I can't remember if you were there. I can't remember who was at my first wedding. You can make it to the second one if you weren't. Yeah, I remember your your wedding, then running into you and Gretchen a few times. Skippy, hey, go lay down. Crinkled something in my hand, so he thought someone was here. I remember running into you and Gretchen at your grandpa's house once. We had Dempsey, but then we kind of lost contact for a while. I think we kind of always had each other's phone number. Think about the time 20 years ago when I moved over here. Derek was really wanting to, and I were really wanting to do some Sally and Groove, maybe just re-record some of our stuff, maybe. I can't remember. But that never, I don't think you were real interested then. I think you're really focused on, doing stuff at the church, and that was kind of it from what I recall. And I didn't know where Toby was. I went up to his dad's, and ran into his dad, and his dad kind of gave me the rundown and showed me his album with Moon Valley Records or something like that.
Delta Haymax.
No, right? It wasn't that band.
It was different.
It was I think it was a Moon Valley Records, but I can't remember the name of the band. Maybe it was a smaller label. It was really good. I was surprised that Toby was like not drumming. He was a guitar player singing. That surprised me. I think it's pretty cool that all four of us Derek, all four of us in our high school band now can all play all the instruments. We didn't just like stay stifled and just do our own thing. So it probably won't happen, but I think it would be fun if we all kind of did just a 4-song little recording and each of us take the lead, like write the song, then everybody else plays whatever instrument. I'll play all different instruments on each track, but I thought that'd be interesting because all of us went completely different directions too, musically, like sound wise. I was telling Steve when I heard Ground Flower, it made me really happy for you because I knew that was your style. That was more your style than what Sally and Groove was. I don't know if Sally and Groove really had. I guess we had a sound, and all of us are just happy to be playing whatever we were playing. But I knew Ground Flower was way more your style, your speed of something you would want to play. So that made me really happy. Within was way more what I wanted to play. Yeah. So you guys were a little softer, Rockside still softer. Within, not soft. Pretty heavy. Toby's just weird 60s throwback type music, and Derek's just kind of, rock punk type stuff, loud. But all four of us together don't sound like anything that we did separately. So I thought that was maybe because that was kind of our first or second, time trying to be a solo, not a solo, but an original band, but definitely veered from each other musically and sound wise, which I appreciate that we could actually like play together then and not have any. I don't think anybody really had any trouble or disagreements musically. I think Derek kind of led everybody. He seemed a little more experienced in the songwriting thing. Playing wise, I felt he was a little better. Well, way better than I was. You were a guitar player, but you played bass because that's what happens when you're in a new band and somebody's got to play the bass. And I didn't have a bass. You did. So I don't know. I'm just rambling here, but it's interesting to see how four people with completely different like musical taste of what we would bring to the table were able to coexist and like make some decent music for 17-year-olds, I think. So
yeah, it was fun too. I mean,
I wouldn't change it for anything. It was so fun.
So fun.
Yeah. Just cutting our teeth, learning the trade, I guess, when and being brave enough to do it. Being brave enough to like
we had each other
about it, and especially Toby. Now thinking back when he talks to us now about how he felt completely intimidated by all of us because we were the older kids and he was 14 or whatever it was, 14, 15 when we started, 14 I think when we started. And he says when he thinks back, like looking at me, he felt like I had like a full beard and everything, but I like barely had any facial hair whatsoever. What the mind of a kid sees it as compared to, when you look back on it. I feel we could go on and talk about more things. We might do a second episode later on down the road, maybe have a little more time when we get when we get the technical. I thought I was going to have technical problems this morning because my headphones are just buzzing bad and I couldn't figure it out. Turned out it was the headphones itself. So I had to go back to these and extend my other pair. So I thought I was going to be the one with technical problems today. But I think as of right now, we'll call this one good, and we'll revisit this. Well, I'm going to have you back if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Thanks for being on today, Nate.
Yeah, man.
All right.
It's good talking with you, Carl.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Okay. Bye.